Hello, I'm Julien Dallaire-Charest, and you're listening to True North Country Comics podcast.
Welcome to the True North Country Comics podcast, dedicated to promote Canadian comic book creators and supporters. It's October 5th, 2020. I'm John Swinimer. If you have a comment, criticism, or question, you can contact me at john@truenorthcountrycomics.com. On this episode, I chat with Julien Dallaire-Charest. The podcast is available on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. Julien devotes himself full-time to illustration, comics, and rock and roll. Among other things, he does comic book interviews for the record store Knockout and covers for children's novels The Abomination of Crystal Lake. Active in collectives and self-publishing, he is currently working on a solo comic book album while being involved in the cultural scene of Quebec City. Julien is also the 2019 Jacques Hurtubise Prize winner at the Quebec BD Festival. So, without further ado, here's my chat with Julien Dallaire-Charest. So, Julien Dallaire-Charest, thank you very much for taking time to chat with me.
Thank you, John.
Appreciate your time. What I normally do to start off the interview is ask the creator about their first comic book. So I'm wondering if you remember, what was the first comic book that you read?
Exactly the first one I probably don't remember, but I know my father had a big collection of comic books at home. And we had, I would say, like things like Gaston Lagaffe from Franquin. Yeah, that's probably like one of the first memories of comic book I have.
Oh, cool. So that leads me to my next question. Who or what inspires you to create today?
Today, I like when I was in my teenage years, I read a lot of like comics from United States, like Marvel and stuff like that, superhero stuff. And when I grew older, I discovered a lot of new things. So I kind of left that behind me. But now I'm really back in what I would say like more like indie action comics, something like that. So I really like what Image Comics is doing right now with things like Headlopper or Prophet, and yeah, there's a lot. I really like drawings in comic books, and I like when it's full of colors and really big and bold. And that's for the moment, that's what I'm looking into. So yeah.
Good. So I'm talking to you and others under the context of various shows that didn't happen this year. One particular was in Montreal, the Montreal Comic Arts Festival. I know it's an annual event. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So I'm wondering if you could talk about what you were planning to exhibit at that particular show.
Yeah, well, but it kind of happened, but online. So it was a fun event, though it wasn't like the real experience, but they did a great job of having it covered online with a YouTube channel and a lot of interviews and stuff like that. And for my part, I was part of a collective of 5 comic book artists, and we released a new book this year, and we were planning to present it at the Montreal Comic Art Festival, and it's called well, it's in French, but in English would be something like the biggest UFO mysteries in Quebec.
Oh, wow. Now, is that book available somehow now digitally or in print that people can buy?
Yeah, it was a long run, but we finally have had the books in July, and it was supposed to be printed out in April. So, and you know why it was delayed. So. Yeah, but the books are now available at the Sawin edition, SAWIN, and it's the publishing company of one of my dear friend Nick Michaud, and he's the mind behind this project. So it was the second book I worked with them. So we are very glad of the result and how it came out. So
good. Glad to hear. So I presume you've been to the festival many times in the past. So I'm wondering if you have any favorite memories that you'd like to share.
One favorite. I've been, I would say about like maybe 5 years. So, well, there's a lot of good memories, but I really like the opening night when you have like a a small drink and they talk and you get there and you see all your friends. I'm from Quebec City, so it's always a kind of a big event when I'm going to Montreal. So I would say almost every first the every like Friday night gathering. It's really a nice moment for me.
You get to meet old friends and discover new people, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of new people too, and you see like, oh yeah, you finally finish your book, and you see where people are at, and yeah, it's always fun.
Nice, good.
Big fan of.
So I want to switch gears slightly and talk about your creative process. I wonder if you could walk me through how you go from the initial concept of a project to the finished page.
Usually I start with mostly drawings. I don't write that much stuff. I know a lot of people they write like a whole script. In my case, I'm more interested like in characters, and I go straight to the storyboard part, and that's where I write the dialogues too, and I kind of like skip on the first step, I would say. But usually I start like this, but I arrive at a moment when my story my story needs to be defined. So now I need to take a step back and I go writing like a script. So it's kind of a counterproductive, but that's really like how I like to do it because I feel like I use all my raw creativity juice, I would say, and just throw it on the pages and draw. And after that, once I've established my characters and my setting, what I want to do with them, I need to go a bit back and like tinker it a bit and write and take time to process all of it. So that's mostly how I work. And after that, once all of this is put together, I try to do like a clean storyboard. And I really like when once this part is finished, it's really polished. I just do the inking, and when I'm inking, there's no more change or almost none. I like it's like a brainless job, I would say. It's just trying to make it look good. So yeah, that's how I work for a comic for the moment. It will probably change in the next one. So.
Well, whatever works for you, I guess, is the main thing. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Now, you're a traditional artist, I presume.
I mix a lot. I do a lot of sketches with like traditional tools, but sometimes I do my inking on the computer, and almost all my coloring it's on Photoshop or Clip Paint Studio. So yeah, I would say I do both because I studied in graphic design. So I think I have more years on drawing on computer than on paper right now. So it's
Okay. Have you toyed with the idea of going to maybe something like a Wacom tablet or a Apple Pencil?
Yeah, I have one. Yeah, absolutely. I have a Cintiq home and on the office too. So I do both. I really like to ink too with the traditional ink and all that. But sometimes I do that often actually. Like I start a drawing, I ink it, and then I scan it. And sometimes I want to add things, and I don't know complete it, and I do it on the computer. And kind of hard to tell which part is which one. So
okay.
It's kind of a mixed media thing.
Right. Very good. Now, we talked about the project that you had at the festival, the anthology book. I'm wondering if you have any other projects in the works that you can talk about.
Yeah, well, I'm currently on my first solo album. Sadly, I can tell you like the title yet because I'm talking about it with my publisher. But it's my first full solo because I did a lot of zines and anthology in the past. I would say like almost 8 years. But now I was ready to do it, and it's a story that it's kind of dear to me. It's mostly like will be a story set in my neighborhood where I live. It's Mézeray. It's near Quebec City, and it's changing now. But it was kind of like the underdog neighborhood with a lot of like poverty and weird stuff happening. And I didn't want to like laugh of the people there, but I want like to see what was I don't know, like what is a day of the guy who's just running around in bicycles with the empty beer cans on his backpack, and it's kind of what gives me the idea to write a story about these these poor guys. They just seem to have a hard time, but at the same time, they just look free and they just seem to do what they want. So that's what I'm hoping to capture with this comic.
Ah, very good. Do you have any sense of time as to when it might appear?
That's a very good question. Currently, I just finished the storyboard like today.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's a big book. It's almost like 200 pages. So,
Oh, wow.
So now I need to ink it and correct it and all that. So, I'd say if I'm lucky, it will probably be in 2021, but I don't know. So,
right.
We'll see. So, but I wish it could be like the sooner possible. But
Sure. Well, I'm wondering where people can find out about this future project and your other work that you have. Where can people find you online?
Online it will be on Facebook. It's my professional page. It's Pizza Julien. It was just a shorter way to because my last name is really long. So online it's just Pizza Julien on mostly everything like Instagram and Facebook. So that will be it.
Very good. Well, Julien, those are all the questions I have for you, but I'm wondering, is there something I didn't ask that you'd like to get across in this interview?
Well, I don't, because you were talking about like, well, I will kind of answer my own question, but you were talking about we missed the Montreal Comic Art Festival, and well, what I find really sad for missing those events, it's like currently we're a lot of people we're in quarantine. How do you say that? Like
yes, quarantine. That's right. Yeah.
Stay home,
Mm-hmm.
and for some people it's quite unusual, but for a comic book artist, it's like all the year it's that. So when you have events, when you can see people and show your books, that's really important. That's like kind of your pay. So it was really sad to don't have that this year because we were just like we would just stay at home and draw like we would do like every other day. So yeah, that's what I miss the most about like those events, and I will really be glad when they will come back.
Thanks to Julien for the chat. You can discover more about Julien on Instagram at instagram.com/pizzajulien and online at juliendc.com. And thanks to you for listening to the True North Country Comics podcast. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to and like this podcast on Apple Podcasts. And please leave a good rating. Also check out the TrueNorthCountryComics.com website and follow along on Twitter at True North Comics. True North Country Comics is now on YouTube, so please like and subscribe to the video channel. And please send your feedback to John at TrueNorthCountryComics.com. Thanks again for listening, and come back soon for another episode. Bye for now. True North Country Comics Podcast is copyright True North Country Comics, copyright 2020.